Chosen the top 5 tokens on Huobi Pro worth 5,000 USDT in May for airdrop specially to you. So to participate and to be eligible, simply make your first deposit a one-time minimum amount of 300 USDT or equivalent to participate. If you want to find out more information on how you can participate in this campaign, please check out the announcement on our website www.huobipro.com. Yep, so also here are some weekly news updates and highlights by Huobi Research. In the regulatory space, Vietnamese authorities have temporarily suspended the importation of digital assets mining equipment. So we are also seeing an increase in blockchain tech applications across the world. For example, in the UK, the National Archives is exploring the use of blockchain tech for digital records. Meanwhile, in Thailand, they are testing out central bank digital currency for interbank settlement. So there's a lot of things going on all over the world.
Yeah.
And also in Japan, Japanese IT giant Fujitsu, I'm sure everyone knows them, has launched a blockchain-based reward system for retail. Also, interestingly, in Australia, we have the first ever digital currency town, which accepts tokens such as Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, NEM, NEM, Litecoin, and Ethereum. So they are accepting these currencies to boost tourism.
That's quite cool.
Bitcoin gave you the very first money that you can own, that can exist online, and that you can send digitally. That was a huge innovation in the world that many people don't realize how important it is yet. While many people might be purchasing Bitcoin because they're speculating, the people in Cyprus, when their banking system collapsed and they lost all their money, needed Bitcoin. The people in Greece, when the ATMs said that you can no longer withdraw cash, needed Bitcoin. The people in India, when the government said, we're making this type of cash illegal and you need to go to put your entire life savings in a bag and queue outside a bank and risk losing your life because people are trying to steal your life savings that you've put in a bag and you're queuing outside a bank to put in, needed Bitcoin. The people that are in Mexico, when Donald Trump became president, and because of that, it ruined the relationship between Mexico and America because he made it very clear what he was going to do. And they lost 25% of the value of their life savings, needed Bitcoin. And so what people don't realize right now is you may not realize you need Bitcoin yet, but you will realize that. And your job is to learn how to own your own money so that when you need to own your own money, you can. Because the second two things you need to understand are why you will need it. And so the first force, just to make that very clearly, when you deposit your money at a bank, the bank becomes the legal owner of your money. When you own Bitcoin, you own that money.
Like you own your own money. Yeah, sounds good.
You own your own money. Yep. And so the second force to understand is that when the bank owns that money, they spend it as they wish. Now, many people are like, well, when I log into my online banking, the money's there. It's not. It's a digital representation of the money, you think
Nothing
you
is
have.
real.
Yes. Until you withdraw it as cash, it is not yours, and it is not real money at that point.
Bitcoin opens up the imagination and possibilities of a global digital currency. The blockchain technology that comes with Bitcoin has put our society in an incredible time. Huobi is actively involved in this wave of rising digital assets in 2013, helping to enlighten Chinese people in digital currency investment. Huobi has made a brilliant achievement in taking the highest market share and received the highest trading volume in China. At present, Huobi Group is opening a global integrated digital asset transaction services with a strong focus on customer service. Huobi Group has set up operations and service centers in Singapore, Hong Kong, Seoul, Tokyo, Beijing, and Shenzhen. With our new base in the beautiful Singapore, Huobi Group will bring quality educational and service experiences to millions of users of digital assets in 130 countries and regions.
Welcome everyone to Huobi Talk. My name is Lindsay. I'll be the host today with Yunhan here. Thanks for joining us today, and we're excited to have you here. Right now, we're live streaming from Singapore, Huobi Pro headquarters.
So some quick intro on Huobi Talk. Huobi Talk is the #1 blockchain talk show aiming to educate viewers and bringing you the latest insights and developments in the blockchain industry.
Today we have with us Mr. Lu Hua, CEO of Libra Credit here. Welcome to Huobi Talk.
Welcome to Huobi Talk.
Yes.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. Really excited to share the latest progress of the project and our new team member with the community.
Great. Can't wait to hear more about Libra Credit.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today, and welcome to Singapore. Welcome to Huobi Talk. So before we start our interview with Mr. Lu, let's have some updates first.
Sure. So about last episode, last Thursday, we featured Mr. Simon, CEO and co-founder of Bank to the Future, who shared with us some really important yet fundamental insights about money and of course about the project Bank to the Future. So if you have missed out on previous episode, please feel free to check out Huobi Pro's YouTube channel to catch up on previous episodes after this live streaming.
Yeah, for more on Huobi Talk, remember to subscribe to YouTube, Huobi Pro. Simply click on the subscribe button below. And for other social media, join us on a Telegram, Instagram, and Twitter. So Telegram, you can search Huobi Pro Official. You can follow us on Twitter at Huobi_Pro. Instagram on Huobi Pro, at Huobi Pro. Check out the links at the description below right now on YouTube.
And also we have some weekly news highlights by Huobi Research. So for industrial applications in blockchain, it's actually booming. So from fake news, paying your coffee with Bitcoin to voting with blockchain. So there are really quite exciting updates on the industrial applications scene.
Also, there's a big news, SEC, regarding now ICOs as security. So apart from that, international policies, countries such as India, Korea, and Lithuania, their government have updated guidelines on the crypto space. Cross-country cooperation is also taking place. Abu Dhabi Security Exchange have partners UK FinTech for blockchain applications, which is very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And also very interesting to note that Walmart is envisioning a Bitcoin-powered electrical grid, which shows how in the crypto industry there are so many different use cases coming up. Right, so it's quite interesting. So if you want more of this week news and exclusive market insights by Huobi Research, please check out Huobi Pro's blog, so you can find a link in the description below.
One more important news, Huobi is hiring right now. We are hiring both in Vietnam and Singapore. Positions are all available, including marketing, operations, to community, and much more. If you're interested in joining our international team, here's your chance. Simply drop an email at apachr@huobi.com with your resume and CV attached, and don't forget to indicate your interested positions and location.
Before we start our chat with Lu Hua, here's an update on our signature airdrop segment. So for this episode, we have switched things up a little bit. So to share today's prize pool of 175,000 LBA Libra Credit token, simply follow the 2 steps below. Firstly, share this video right now with all your friends by clicking the share button below and fill up the Google form stated in the description. So just by doing this, you get to share 75,000 LBA prize pool. Secondly, we will also be having 5 rounds of Q&A during Huobi Talk. For each round of Q&A, we will be picking the first 100 correct answers in the format your Huobi UID at the right answer. So if you are the top 100 to have the right answer, you can share 20k LBA, meaning that each winner for every round will win 200 LBA each. So here's how you can find your UID on Huobi. Firstly, log in to huobi.pro. Second, click on Account and Security, and third, find your UID here. Please note that all tokens will be deposited into your Huobi Pro account within 3 working days after the official announcement is posted on a Medium. So please invite all your friends and share the live streaming right now, and good luck for the Q&A later.
Don't forget, this is a quick reminder for you guys. We want to keep this interactive. So if you have any questions or comments, feedback, feel free to write on the live chat. We'll be selecting some interesting questions on the spot so that we can answer along the way.
Okay, so now let's start our feature with Mr. Lu, CEO of Libra Credit. So Mr. Lu, really great to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Very excited to be here.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So why don't you introduce yourself a bit for our audience here?
Sure. Probably like for myself, a little background is I have been spent like last 10 to 15 years on like financial technologies and the payments industry. Spent 10 years in Silicon Valley, worked mainly for 2 companies. The first company is called VeriSign. VeriSign is the largest like digital certificate issuer like in the whole world, SSL certificates, and also runs like used to run the largest like domain registration like network solutions, and like VeriSign also has a payments division. So I was one of the founding member of the payments division. So basically what we did is we built up the first generation of US like online payment gateway, brought like more than like 20 offline credit card processor online. And I think we signed up about 200,000 merchants and processed about like 10 to 15% of US e-commerce volume. The product name is called like a Pay for Link and the Pay for Pro. And then like PayPal and eBay stepped in and actually acquired the payments division from VeriSign. So our team like joined PayPal. In PayPal, I was mainly responsible for the like a global banking platform, which is the key infrastructure for like PayPal digital wallets. So PayPal digital wallet is actually covering like more than 100 countries and regions. So it's a very important thing is you need to making sure all the like funds in and funds out of the PayPal digital wallet in all those like regions actually work properly for both consumer side and the merchant side. So like my team's job is actually working with all those like banks, credit card companies, issuer acquirers, and also like card associations in different regions, making sure like the global banking platform actually function properly. Like in US we worked with like ACH, in UK we work with like BACS, also spend a lot of time with Barclays like on UK fast payments. In Germany like we have product like ELB ETF. And like Singapore, I think we have long-term relationship with like DBS, and also like in Korean, like I think we work with like Shinhan cards, Hyundai cards, like Kumin, BC, like all those major credit card issuers. Like also, I was involved in one of the key projects is the largest like card association in the world, like China Union Pay. That's when like PayPal was trying to develop a strategic relationship with China Union Pay to enable like billions of credit card and debit card issued by China Union Pay, which can be used on like over like I think back then was like 8 million merchants around the world. So like all the Chinese consumers, when they're shopping overseas, they look at, hey, this merchant is powered by PayPal. Then they know right away they can add like a China Union Pay issued debit card, credit card there, and can shop like all around the world.
Right.
So that's basically my experience at PayPal. And I think that when I finished the project with China Union Pay, actually I decided like build up my own fintech company in Shanghai, and that's where we build up like more credit. I think the product is called like Pay Now Pay Later, which is inspired by Bill Me Later, which was the largest like credit company credit payment company in US. So essentially like we connecting the consumers and the mobile gaming providers. It's like by providing your phone number and some basic info, we can give you a virtual credit line, and you can use that virtual credit line to shop on all those like game developers and pay us back like just like a credit card in 14 days.
Quite interesting. So it's a bit like you are working with digital currencies, and
Exactly.
then you evolve to using blockchain, right?
Exactly. And
from game tokens to blockchain using.
yeah, absolutely. I think we can share like a little more like how that thing slowly like evolves into why we wanted to leverage that blockchain and also like a crypto asset to be the underlying credit vetting and the credit issuing technology. So basically that's the background, and I think moving to fast forward, and for that fintech company we built up, along the way we also received like Sequoia, Brutus, Tech, a lot of like VC investments, and I think into 2016 and 2017, that's when we realized if we really want to build up a global credit platform, and blockchain is the right technology to adopt. And that's like slowly we build up like the concept of like Libra Credit. So the mission and vision of Libra Credit is we want to be the bridge between the crypto space, blockchain space, and the traditional financial institutions. So we can bring, when we can manage the price volatility and risk management, so we can bring the liquidity from the traditional financial institution into this crypto community. So just a quick summary of the
Thanks
background.
for the sharing. So Lu, just curious, so how did you first get involved in blockchain technology? Because previously it's just fintech payments.
Yeah.
So how do you even hear of blockchain in the first place?
I think that has a lot to do with the two products I just mentioned. One is like Billmulator, the largest like credit payment company in US. PayPal acquired, I think, back in 2010. And the original idea is like acquire the company and expand global-wise, like to UK, Australia, and Singapore. But then during the expansion process, I think like we're starting to realize the fundamental credit infrastructure is so different from country to country, and there's no way like you can just take that and copy it to different regions. And that's because like the credit bureau and also like all the data collection, data processing process just simply doesn't support that. And again, with my previous like pay now pay later product, and when we tried to expand it in Southeast Asia, but we had very similar challenges like fundamental like credits infrastructure is not ready, mobile payments not ready, like all those things. So all those things actually made me think, right? Because we look at the PayPal going from like a US company to a global company, like covering over 100 countries. Huge success during the internet phase, right? But how can we build up a credit platform which has the underlying like technology supports global credit issuing and the global credit vesting? I think that's probably something made us really look into blockchain.
Into blockchain.
Exactly. And then like I think blockchain, and also like with the appreciation of the crypto asset in 2017, which all of a sudden made it a very meaningful underlying like assets, which is universally acceptable. So those two things combined together, we decided like okay, Libra Credit, like the idea and the project. So like by the end of like 2017, it's officially launched. So that's basically the background story behind all this stuff.
I think that even though Libra Credit was launched so early, as in like so like 2017, but this idea is kind of based on your previous experience.
Exactly.
So you maybe it's like even like 5 years in the making from where you were from previously.
I was always using like one example for myself. Like I did my study in Canada.
Yes.
So I worked very hard, like 4 years in Canada, built up my credit history. I was very happy. I got a credit card from Bank of Montreal. Oh, cool. I got about like, I forgot, like it's about like 10,000 Canadian dollar credit line. But the moment I moved from Vancouver to like Silicon Valley, and I go to like Bank of America, I said, I want a credit card. They look at it, yes, we're happy to give you a credit card, $500 US.
Oh.
And you have to deposit $500 cash to get a secure credit card. So that means like whatever you did in Canada has nothing to do with like US market.
It's not linked.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have to build the whole thing again. So funny thing is after like 10 years, again, worked very hard, like build up the credit history in US, right? I even got a mortgage, got a car loan, all those things. The moment I moved back to Shanghai, right, and I go to like China Merchant Bank and said, hey, I want a credit card. I was thinking like, hey, I had a credit history in 2 countries, right? Canada, US. Sorry, we cannot issue your credit card, right?
Again, start
yeah,
from the zero.
Again, it's from the zero. So my own experience told me like there's something fundamentally wrong about the previous like credit vetting and the credit like issuing process. It's so isolated, centralized in each different region, right? And now I think like blockchain probably is the first time it's going to like if those informations are actually available from a certain protocol to like all the financial institutions around the world, then all of a sudden your credibility and you will have a global ID and become portable into different regions. Yeah, so that's something really excites me, and that's something really like made us think like Libra Credit need to make something like that happen in the future. So.
Right. It's cool how he found his problems and tried to solve that, and that became the idea of your business.
Yes. Okay.
And I think that kind of links to their motto of the business, right? The local demand and global supply.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that it's actually the local demand, like global supply. I think we had this idea like from many different perspectives. Like one of our investors, like DHVC, I think the founding partner is Professor Zhang. And I think he's from actually University of Stanford, and had extensive knowledge and on all those like I think he's from the physics background, but he is a firm believer in the sense of like local demand, like global supply. Also like now if we explain this one, like it's more okay. Crypto community doesn't matter if it's in Singapore, Korean, or like in US, right? Because now the underlying asset is universally acceptable. It's like crypto asset, right? It's pretty much the same price everywhere. Now, like different financial institutions, different banks, if someone can manage the price volatility risk for them, there's no reason, right? They cannot trade it the same. So anybody like in Korean origin, you can only get like probably the liquidity from the Korean financial institutions. But now all of a sudden the people look at it, hey, it's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum. We know from CoinMarketCap how much it's worth, right? So probably financial institutions from like different regions, they're willing to take that asset back, say, hey, I'm going to take this one, provide liquidity for this like group, for this community. So this is more like the idea, like a local demand, global supply.
Okay, cool. Any more questions? Okay. Today we have an interesting pop quiz. We have total 5 exciting rounds for pop quiz. Airdrop will be total 100,000 LBA tokens in. And for each round, 20,000 LBA tokens will be shared between the first 100 participants who get the right answers. So each round, you guys need to be quick. Try to leave the comment with the right format. And we will start with
time
the first
for the first question. So get ready.
Okay, so question number 1. What is Libra Credit's slogan? Please make sure you guys key in the right answer on the live chat in the right format. UID 1234567 at correct answer. For those who don't know how to find UID, please refer to the Q&A of a Huobi Pro. And only first 100 correct answers will get to share 20,000 LBA prize.
Okay, we're seeing some correct answers. So good luck. Hope you are like one of the top 100. So the top 100 can share 200 LBA each. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, let's get back to our chat with Mr. Lu. So Lu, what problem and challenges does Libra Credit solve through blockchain technology?
Yeah. When we started like Libra Credit, like we're looking at what is the really pain point in the crypto community, and we found this, especially with like appreciation of the assets in 2017, like in U.S., Korean, Japan, those markets there's a lot of like believer in the sense they won't hold the crypto assets for the longer term, but they do have the short-term liquidity need, right? And now the current market is pretty much if you need the liquidity, you have to sell it. And the moment that you sell it, I think in those markets there's like tax implications right away. And the tax implication is actually very high. It's like 30, 40, 50% in different markets. So I think like that's one of the pain points. I think, hey, Libra Credit can step in is for all those users, you can hold your crypto assets and spend Libra Credit, right? We provide the liquidity. So that's one of the like pain points we can solve those things.
Before we move on, can you just do a quick summary on the introduction of Libra Credit? So what services does Libra Credit provides?
Yeah,
Yep.
so Libra
Even
Credits,
before, yeah.
I think it's basically like I just mentioned earlier, is we're trying to act as intermediate bank between the crypto community, like crypto assets, and financial institutions. And we manage all the like price volatility, risk vetting, credit issuing, and then like financial institutions provide liquidity, like funding source. And the crypto community is using like Bitcoin, Ethereum, probably top 10, top 20, those cryptocurrencies as collateral. So in a nutshell, I think that's pretty much what we're trying to achieve though.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So for the collateral, I saw that Huobi token, our token, is one of the collaterals. So can you explain more about that?
Yeah, I think that's very interesting, right? That also has a lot to do with how we design our Libra token economy, right? So the token itself is designed as a utility token and a governance token. At the very beginning, like we were supporting BTC and Ethereum, and then I think we gave a lot of like we're trying to give a lot of governance voting power back to the community in the sense like what kind of like crypto asset you would like Libra Credit to support around the way. And I think like it's very interesting because since like we have more and more Huobi users in our community as well, and I think HT is actually the one people ask the most, especially when HT becomes one of the very important crypto asset when people use like on HeadX or Huobi Pro. I think then we made a decision is that, okay, that's probably something like the community really needs, that, and we put it on the third on the list. And so right now, I think if you look at our website, for all the users who is in our pilot mode, they can see like we support BTC, Ethereum, HT though. Right now, I think for June timeframe, we saw majority of the creditor is still like Ethereum.
Okay. So back to the second question.
Can you elaborate more on how the credit rating and collateral grading work? And saw from your white paper you use AI in your system. So can you share more? So in what way will AI be used?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think like from the traditional like lending services, especially like a credit card and loans, and they're more based on unsecured model, which means like purely based on the information user provided. You do big data analysis and decide whether the user is qualified, and it has a lot to do with whether like the user in US market is, hey, how is your FICO score, right? Is your FICO score like 600, 700 or 800, and then what kind of like long term you're going to receive. But in Libra credits, and the user is actually, there's two aspects. Like one is the user provides crypto asset as collateral, and that actually is probably a key measure for us, like in terms like what kind of loan and what the long term you're going to get. But on top of that, like from KYC, from AML perspective, we also need user to provide some identity informations. And so like, so in Libra credit lending, the identity and the user information parts is not going to be as much as what we saw in the unsecured loan application, which like purely depend on that, because now you already have collateral, right? And this is probably like, let's see, 60-70% already like towards a credit decision.
Yep.
And all the like identity info in terms of like AML and the KYC, that's probably 20 to 30. So it's like a hybrid credit decision making process based on all the information you provide and crypto asset you put into collateral.
Okay. I have a questions on the blockchain. So
Yeah.
what kind of blockchain technology do you use?
Yeah, so there's a lot of technology, like blockchain technology. People are developing a lot of different projects. But for the very specific question, like a very specific like a pain point we are trying to solve here, and the kind of like different parties we are putting together, like users and like identity info providers, and also like financial institutions. That actually requires something a little special, because we see like product from JP Morgan Chase, Quorum. They have like something called Quorum. It's a permission blockchain. Also, we see something from like Hyperledger Fabrics, like from R3 Association. I think we saw that called us. and all those are called like permissioned blockchain. And I think like Libra, what we are developing, what we call the Libra protocol, which is going to be used by like accounting firms and also financial institutions. They also like a node around like the blockchain we're building up. This is also going to be a permissioned blockchain in the sense it's getting ready for like auditing purpose, settlement, clearance, and like eventually Libra score. Like user will own that Libra score, and they will decide who can have access to that Libra score. So that's the kind of like very specific design for the financial technology and the financial institution area. So.
Exciting. That's going to be a big
So
change.
will Libra Credit be looking to be on their own blockchain in the future?
I think currently we deployed like on Ethereum, and I think Ethereum also has like enterprise Ethereum, and we do have plan to look into like other like a public chain like technology. But for now, I think Ethereum probably is for short term. Is we definitely will deploy on that.
Yeah,
for
but
now.
what about the transaction speed? Because for now the platform, the blockchain is not really fast. Does it matter, or will it affect the system?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? And that's also like a lot of other projects like sharding, like Zilliqa, and all those. They're trying to solve those efficiency of the blockchain technology. So when we look at the phase like the blockchain technology currently at is, I think it may not at the stage can compete with like Visa, MasterCard, and like even Alipay, like those in terms of payment processing capability or scalability, right? So if you are thinking about using Bitcoin, like Ethereum for daily grocery shopping, like for like coffee shopping, right? You need to do real-time crypto like currency settlement and clearance. It's just not there, like, and it's also expensive, right? The gas fee and also like the turnaround time. But for the problem we are trying to solve, in the sense like credit vetting and credit issuing, so normally like everyone like every year, probably no, I think even less than a year, you apply for a credit card, apply for a loan, apply for a mortgage, things like that, right? And that's something probably doesn't have that high frequency transaction requirement, and blockchain also like the decentralized like way can solve this problem really well. So I think like blockchain is at a phase probably not ready to solve the daily payments problem, but it's already in a very good position to solve like things like credit issuing and the credit vetting problem. So that's how I view the current status of the blockchain technology. So.
Cool. Thanks for the explanation and sharing. Very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we move on to our interview with Lu, let's have the pop quiz right now. So it's time for the question number 2 for the pop quiz. So get ready, everyone. Like get ready with your UID and the correct answer. So for question number 2, the question is, what is Libra Credit's website? So what you need to do is to key in your answer in the format Huobi UID at correct answer. So the correct answer should be a website link. So good luck.
Okay, I see many people writing.
Yeah, let's see if anyone got the right answer yet. So just to repeat, the question is, what is Libra Credit's website? So what you can do is key in your Huobi UID at the correct answer, which should be a website link. So it's the Libra Credit's website.
We have 3 more rounds for the pop quiz, so stay tuned, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah, and also here's a reminder, we want to keep this live streaming very interactive, so if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment on the live chat box. We will be picking up some questions to answer along the way.
So why don't we check out now? Let's check some questions. Okay, any interesting questions?
Do you spot any interesting question?
Oh, I saw there's a question from Harold. Can you
Okay, question from Harold.
yeah.
Can you prove the advisor's participation in Libra Credit? What roles do the advisors play?
Okay, I think that's a very good question, right? And when while we're back in the Telegram community building, like we also like discussed what kind of advisor can add like more value to these projects. From my perspective, I was more thinking about since we're trying to solve like become a bridge between crypto assets and blockchain space and traditional financial institution. So it's very important for us to bring like the talents like from both spaces, right?
Yeah.
So I think like so we actually did that way in terms like when we trying to get our advisors from the blockchain space. I think like we have like Vincent from FBG, which like is probably one of the top like crypto fund in the whole world. Also Liam from like Alphabet, which has a great reputation like in like Europe, and I think they also has a great like project review and trading team as well. And also like I just mentioned earlier, like we have like Professor Zhang from like the HBC, which we will announce pretty soon. We'll also be sitting on our like advisory board. So we have those like expertise like from the blockchain space. Also like from the fintech space, then we're very honored like Scott Thompson, the former like CEO of PayPal, and he actually also joined our advisory board, and he actually already brought in tremendous value to this project in terms like I think I will share like a couple slides regarding like our new team members.
Sure,
and
we'll share it shortly.
you will find there's a lot of people from PayPal, and I think definitely like Scott like helped us a lot with his influence and with his like involvement in the blockchain technology. And I think we also have like Brad King, which is also like a fintech expertise in the U.S. market, also joined our like advisory board. So to answer that question, like we always think like we need to bring the best from blockchain space and the fintech space, and combine a team both for like advisory board and for like our daily operation team. So.
Okay, so for the advisors, what role they play is that they advise,
Yeah, we have like a regular sync up with advisors, right? So I think for advisors, it's very important is they can leverage their influence in this industry and actually can help us in both recruiting and in both like partnership and also like introduction like to new alliance and all those things. So I think to that perspective, our like advisors are doing exactly that. And so that's why we say like our team members, new team members keep adding up. It's all probably among the best from the world class. Yeah.
How do you manage to get so many great advisors? Is it like because they believe so much in your team, or is it more of like they believe in your product or your people, or is it based on your past connections with them because your team is from very experienced and very
yeah, I think
industry
it has a lot to what you just mentioned, right? Like my co-founder Dan Shat, he used to be the general manager of financial innovations in PayPal, and he brought like dozens of like financial institution deals in PayPal, which built himself a great reputation. He was also the author of a popular book called like Virtual Banking. That even back in like 2013 and 14, he already put like a few chapters dedicated to Bitcoin and blockchain technology. So which also built up him like a great reputation in both fintech and the blockchain like space. And so being said that is the advisors, the way they look at me, look at Dan, we worked together before, and we do have a track of records. And we are picking up some, I would say Libra Credit is still very young, right? It has a lot of challenges ahead, but it still has like, also has tremendous opportunities ahead. And I think one of the, at least like early paper culture is encouraging people to take some risk and also like to explore something which will potentially change significantly of the existing financial industry in a good way though.
Yep.
I think the advisor team, I think honestly, I think they're also very excited about what we're trying to achieve here though.
Something new, like something really like will impact the industry.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's pick another question from the live chat. Okay, actually we saw a comment that for the second question, there wasn't a chance for you guys to put the URL. So maybe for that question, we will remove it, as in we won't use that question for now, but we will come up with another QA later to replace that QA.
Sure. Sounds good.
I see, okay.
Yeah, so moving on to the live chat questions. So maybe we can have a question from Nicholas. Why was there a 25% bonus pre-sale and no lockup period?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think like that's what we did is pre-sale is more like I think 8 cents, and the public sale is 10 cents. And compared with a lot, we did like do a comparison with the existing project and what they did, right? So we also get some advice from our investors and also from like other advisors who has been through many of those pre-sale and public sales. It looks to us like that's probably fairly reasonable in the sense like early investors, especially like I think giving February to April, the market is actually experienced a significant downturn, and reward the pre-sale investors with like 25% discounts at that time frame. We think is very reasonable, and compared with some projects like the almost like 50% more, like double the price from like private sale to public sale. I think that's what's the best decision we think we made during that time frame, though.
Right, at that time. Okay, so you just mentioned, we'll go back to the conversation with
Sure,
Lu.
sure.
So
Yeah.
you just mentioned that your team has a great experience in terms of fintech industry. So for example, yourself is the former US head of PayPal, which is very interesting. So can you elaborate more of the other teammates?
Sure. I think we have a couple slides
Right.
like on
Yeah.
the team. Probably
Yeah.
we can share that with so I think like the first three of us is apparently like I already talked about my background and also briefly talk about like Dan's background. Okay, probably like on this slide I will also emphasize on our chief scientist, Howard Wu. Howard is actually built up a great reputation in the blockchain space, and I think he's one of the early involvement. Like I think he started like blockchain or Bitcoin space back in like 2011.
Wow,
And there's
pretty
one
early.
interesting like story is like in his garage he started from a couple of computers. Then he started like racks and all those things. So the whole garage was full of like computers, and his mom couldn't take it anymore. I think the solution he came up with his mom is, hey mom, I'm going to pay the electronic bills, electrical bills and all the stuff, PG&E, okay, so settle that. So Howard he started like in this space really long time back, and he was involved in lots of like projects by writing like even all those crypto library. I think like one of that is probably Zcash, and he was also like one of the founding member of blockchain at Berkeley. So it's very interesting. We had like a career fair at Berkeley, like blockchain career fair at Berkeley. So everybody look at our post, they say like Howard is there. So everybody comes to our like, okay, hey, I want to work with Howard. I think like he's involved in so many like projects, like a community made so much value to those like communities. We want to work with this guy and all those things. So that's the kind of like influence you can feel. Like our team has in the blockchain space as well. So probably I move more on to the next slide is, yeah, I think like we just had a very successful meetup in Shanghai, and during that meetup actually we kind of like there is more team member announced like joined the Libra Credit team. Jonathan Labovich, I think he joined us as the Chief Experience Officer. Jonathan is from a PwC background.
So are they all new members? When did they join?
They actually we talked to them already for some time, and I think because like it takes some time for them to onboard
How
officially.
do you like persuade so many like A-star people, like so many great
Yeah,
people
you see,
to
like
join the team?
most of them. Actually, Johnson worked with us even when we were back at the PayPal X.com. So he's also like a long-term friend. And like Maxim, our like chief product officer, he will also spend a long time in PayPal core payments. That's actually the same department where I used to work. So we built up those like trust a long time back. And you see like Jonathan now, who is going to head up our European efforts, and he's actually the main guy behind like PayPal's key like partner deals like with those major banks in Europe. So and JJ's guy, he actually based in Singapore and also working for financial innovations with like Asia Pacific like banks. And so all those guys, you see, they have the PayPal background. Either they work for PayPal or they work very closely with PayPal before. So when Dan and I, like Howard, we said, hey, okay, we're expanding the team, and I think they're very interested, and especially I think they're convinced by the mission and the vision of Libra Credit, how we can become like build up another like financial institution network around the world. Now, for Libra Credit based on blockchain, And that's something sounds very familiar to them. Is in the sense back in PayPal, everybody knows we build up the best financial institution network around the world, around PayPal wallet based on internet. Now it's the opportunity. We have the opportunity to change the industry, to add like additional value like to the industry again. So I think all the people are excited. And actually, we're going to make a more announcement probably beginning of July. We will have like a solid US team, European team, and like APAC team. And as a matter of fact, I think we're going to have an office in Singapore, like big office. Now we have a small one. We have a big office, probably right next to PayPal in Suntec. So.
Okay.
And you guys will definitely be invited there.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Looking forward. Okay.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing on all your like team great experience, especially in the fintech industry. So
Yep.
apart from their vast experience in this industry, what makes your team stand out more? Like, and what makes you think your team can succeed in this project?
It's like I was just saying, like if at the moment that like you attract top talents from both space, like blockchain and fintech, and those guys is actually they made these things happen before, right? And it's like it's not like it's just a concept. We have the concept, and we know exactly how to take this one from concept to like hundreds of thousands of users, millions of users, and from the transaction volume wise, from like first starting from, let's see, like we currently we're processing probably like $1 million worth of credit in our system. By the end of this year, we think this will become like $10 million worth of like credit on a monthly base. And moving from like 2019, then that number can become like tens of millions, hundreds of millions. It's just exactly the same way people like evolved during its like 10 years, okay, first 10 years. Okay.
Cool. Okay, so I have a question. If you have to choose like 3 factors to rank them to determine whether like what is a good to make the project succeed, based on the team, the technology, and the community adoption, what would you say is like, how would you rank them?
Yeah, I think definitely like from my perspective, I would definitely say like team is number one.
Team is number one,
number
over
one.
tech even.
Over tech, because like the tech is important, but then the tech, if you look at the blockchain technology, there's so many different projects on the tech already, and 2018 is actually, this is the year we need to see like major blockchain projects actually can have a big user base, actually a huge user base. That kind of project needs to happen. And I think Libra Credit represents that kind of new direction for the blockchain space. It's not like somebody come out here with like 3 or 4 people saying, hey, we're developing a new blockchain technology. I think that's needed, but this is just one more, right? Now is the time you need to show people all the technology we built like for the last 5 or 6 years. Now it's actually going to happen with a mass user adoption. So.
Okay, great answer. So tech and then community
Yes,
adoption,
absolutely.
and then tech.
Because you're solving a real problem, right? You know the pain point. You're solving the real problem, and you're solving a global problem. So that's definitely like what we just mentioned, a global community, and the community is willing to use your product. So you still need to build the best product.
Okay. Okay.
So again, out of 5 pop quiz, it's already the 3rd round.
Yeah, just now for the second one, there was some issues. So later we will ask another question. So, yep.
Okay, so still number 3. Just for those who just joined our YouTube live talk show, Huobi Talk, sorry, I'll remind you again. So today we have total 5 rounds. It's already 3rd round. And for each round, 20,000 LBA will be shared between the first 100 participants who get the correct answers. So using the right format of Huobi UID at correct answers. Again, sorry for the second questions, but we move on to the question number 3.
Yep, so time for question number 3. Who is the chief scientist at Libra Credit? So I think just now Lu mentioned before. So you guys can key in your answer now at Huobi UID at correct answer. Good luck. We have 3 more Q&A, so please stay with us and all the best. Let's see if we have any right answer at the top chat. Yep, we are seeing like quite a lot of correct answers, so all the best. Hope you are one of the lucky 100.
Wow, everyone is getting the right answer.
That's awesome. That means you guys are listening to the live stream.
which is great.
Good.
Yeah, so now back to our questions.
Okay, I have a questions regarding the investment. So Libra Credit has a great support and funding, especially with well-known investors such as FBG Capital and Lu Hua VC. So can you explain more about the traditional or like crypto investment?
Yeah. It's very interesting. Like I just introduced earlier, when we starting to believe like blockchain and crypto assets is the right underlying technology for like a global credit platform. At the same time, FBG, which the full name is actually FinTech Blockchain Group. So they are actually looking at like FinTech related projects, and they also believe like 2018, 2019. They want to invest in the projects which has like massive like user adoption, but mainly is in the fintech space. So I think like we had a chance to talk to like Vincent, Richard from FBG, and I think it's just we feel the great synergy together. Because FBG already built like a global like reputation, and so we decided to do this together. And so we started to do a roadshow in San Francisco, and then like DHVC is probably one of the earliest, and we like get into touch. And DHVC has like a huge like portfolio with a lot of successful blockchain projects. So it's for us like I think we quickly we just decided, hey, that's the kind of team we want to work with in the long term. And then along the way we had a lot of like other like crypto funds like GBIC, like DM from like Alphabet. Block Tower in like Decrypto Capital, and so there's a pretty long list of investors. And also it's very interesting. We like we also like got traditional VC like 500 startup. They only do like more traditional like type of investment. They also like think, hey, this is a very cool like fintech project. We want to get involved. So you guys will see like a long list of investor name on our website. And I do appreciate a lot for the like support. And the way we pick up the investor and work with the investor is also like we see the long-term value, like they can also like add to this project. And our goal is to actually bring the long-term return to the investors as well. So it has been tremendous synergy.
Yeah, it really shows like how like there's so much great support for your project.
Yeah.
Shows
Exactly.
the potential, like so many investors believe in your project, which sounds really awesome.
Exactly, and we're also very happy like from the investor background, we do see, hey, blockchain is really global. Because like look at the investors, we have like investors from like all different continents. Okay.
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 That's good. That's good to hear. So we go back to
Yeah, so let's have an update on our signature airdrop segment. So we have switched things up a bit since the last episode. So to share today's prize pool of 175,000 LBA, simply follow the 2 steps below. Firstly, you can share this video right now.
please share this video with all your friends by clicking the share button below. Fill up the Google form stated in the description below, and you get to share 75,000 LBA prize pool just by sharing this video.
Yep, and for this live streaming, we have 5 rounds of Q&A. So we had around 3 Q&A just now. So for each round of Q&A, we'll be picking the first 100 correct answers in the format your UID at right answer to share 20,000 LBA, meaning that the winners of each round will win 200 LBA each. So please invite all your friends, share the live streaming right now, and all the best. Hope you are one of the lucky 100 winners for the Q&A.
Yeah. Also for the interactive QA from the live chat, we have picked 2 questions, and maybe we go check if
let's see
there's
what
any
we have.
other.
What other questions we have? Okay, we have a question from Arthur. So P2P lending companies like Lending Club has been acquired or close to declaring bankrupt. Other than Libra being on the blockchain, what else sets Libra apart from the close of these P2P lending companies?
Yeah, I think other brought up a very important question is more like if you want to do credit, you want to do like lending, what is the fundamental model you're going to use? He brought up like he actually not only referring to the crypto P2P. We saw some projects already like doing crypto P2P like on the markets. He actually mentioned like Lending Club, and Lending Club Prosper is considered as probably the top 2 P2P companies in US, right? Fintech companies. I think the challenge like Prosper and the P2P is having is the majority of the lending side, who provides the funding source, is only like 10 to 20% is from individual, and like more than 80% is still need to be coming from the financial institutions. So what that means is if we do like the lending related business like for crypto community, if we stay like on the P2P side, it's not going to be scalable. So that's why from the very beginning we decided we just have to become an intermediate bank, a bridge between the crypto assets and the financial institutions. Because by the end, that's going to be the real liquidity coming from. Even though like at the very beginning, you will have all those challenges like risk management and like compliance, regulatory stuff, but you just have to solve those things. Then you will have a scalable and sustainable product and the business model. So.
Okay, since we are talking about all the P2P crypto, right? So can you share more about how, because crypto is so volatile, so how does Libra Credit work with that? Like, as a user, I wouldn't want to like use as in lend and borrow any crypto because like the price fluctuation is a lot. So I heard that there's some stable coin.
Yeah, that's right. That's actually something we also brought in our like product roadmap is. We do have like a crypto to crypto. What does that mean is the user can use Bitcoin, ETH as collateral, and then they can we can like lend out this USDT or like a DAI from McDowell, that kind of like stable coin.
Right.
So to address your question, so the reason they want to like put in the collateral is they can get those like stable coin, and the stable coin at least for now is performing stable. It's like they tied with like a US dollar pretty firmly. And also like to manage the price volatility is more like, okay, we are using an over-collateralized model. It's in the sense, if you deposit like 10,000 worth of Bitcoin, doesn't mean you can borrow $10,000 worth of USDT or DAI. It's more like what we have a concept is collateral to loan ratio, CTL, and we have some recommended value for each like individual like users based on the information and based on the asset he put in our system. We see, hey, if you drop below that critical value, you will also get a margin call, something like that. So far, I think in June timeframe we have like processed about 1,500 ETH as collateral. I think only 4 ETH probably got a margin call and has been liquidated so far. So I mean, like in the sense. We have been trying to educate the community and the user base pretty well, so they understand what kind of risk they are taking.
So the platform is up and running now?
It's in the pilot mode.
The pilot mode.
Pilot mode. Okay. So we have like a few hundred users is already doing that, and we have close to like 1,500 to like 2,000 ETH in the system already as collateral.
I see. Okay, cool. Thanks for the explanation. So now let's pick a second question from the live chat.
Sure.
Lu, let us know if you spot anything interesting that you want to answer. Okay, maybe question from Corey. Hi, I am a LBA holder.
Okay.
What has been completed so far in the production of the Libra ecosystem?
Oh, okay. I think he actually brought up a good question.
Yeah.
Do you think we can bring up that slide?
Which slide?
The roadmap?
No, and the one like has all different parties.
Yeah, the
Oh.
collateral,
the
the one with the circle,
Yeah.
if that's possible.
Yeah, that's the one. So okay, I think like to answer his question, like our goal is really trying to connecting the dots in the sense like consumer side, we are already working with like wallets and exchanges to offer like, hey, Libra Credit as a lending module into like wallets and exchanges. And also like from the identity verification partnership, we're also like working with like all those third parties. They provide like that kind of identity information, and user owns the information, and without the users like permissions, and like all other third parties probably cannot access to that. And also it's very important is we're talking about like what I just mentioned, lenders and the stablecoin partnership. Is stablecoin we already have a pretty solid relationship with like McDowell. They provide those DAI which we can't use in our system. But interestingly, what we found, like a lot of people using DAI as like most of them are actually from a technical background, so they are more familiar with that. But other users, they still prefer like USDT quite a bit. So.
May I just check what is the cap limit? Is
Oh,
it
cap
like
limit? Yes.
specific
Okay.
to each country? Like let's say I want to lend 10K, can I just do it after I have like KYC approved?
Yeah, I think the cap is actually at 10K.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but then
Yes.
the cap is at 10K. But then like we do have like that's when like the Libra token coming in as a utility token, right? The more Libra token you have, and we can raise your cap like to 2K, right, or 20K, 30K, something like that. That's like one of the use of the Libra token. So again.
So do you need the Libra token in order to participate in this?
For pilots,
Yeah.
we kind of like not using it as a firm requirement, but moving forward, we are going to put
will
that
be a
in. Yeah,
requirement.
and you guys will see more and more usage of the Libra token into the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, can we go back to the slide, please?
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think we pretty much covered from the consumer side, from like lender and the state. Lender pretty much is what I meant is financial institutions, especially when we move into like crypto to fiat in credit card centric regions like Korea, Japan, Singapore, US. Make a lot of sense. Like you issue a credit card to the user. And we don't have to worry about the acquiring side because like those markets already has very established acquiring side. You can use that fiat credit card everywhere, but it's more from the credit card issuing side. We're going to work with like exchange and credit card issuers to issue that Libra Credit co-branded credit cards. And
So any successful
yeah,
partnership?
you are going to see that I think in Q4, and we're in those like key markets, we're going to make some announcement, progress pretty soon. So okay, and also like in some markets which is not credit card centric, in the sense like the network for credit cards is not well established, then probably makes more sense. It's still like a loan product directly goes to users' bank accounts.
So other than your website, the app, you also can use a credit card for those with LBA partnership.
Yes, I think that what will happen is from people can have access like to crypto product from the website and from a wallet. We're building like called Best Token, and because like our vision to the wallet is a wallet with basic wallet functionality plus lending module and potentially plus some like trading functionality, so you can get the USDT and DAI and the other stable coins. Also has a very easy way to compare it to other like cryptocurrency you want.
Okay, would you like to touch more on the other parts of the ecosystem?
I think
Or most of it is done already, right?
Yeah, we mentioned.
What about identity verification partnership?
Yeah, that's like we saw like there is a company like we talked to like Civic, and I think in touch with Uport. There's a few other most recent ones. They also claim like they can do a lot of like identity related service. So for us, like because like for lending, there's like two fundamental components. One is like identity, and the other one is like credit. So the identity part is definitely we need to work with different partners. So what is the best way to do the like identity verification and to do like the vetting? And the other one is like okay, once you have that piece of information, it's very key. It's like you have the crypto assets, and how do you read those assets? Those things together, you make a credit decision. So.
Okay, so let's pick out another question from the live chat. Yep.
Okay.
Maybe question from a Korean user.
Yeah, question from Bak Sang-hoon.
Bak Sang-hoon.
Yes, how do you address scalability?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Like when people, the moment that they hear about how you are deploying this on Ethereum, and I think it brings up the concern. It's good. Yeah. Now, the crypto kitty is gone, right? So I think scalability is no longer an issue. I'm just kidding. That's for now. Like okay, that's
But
gonna.
once Libra Credit is on, then it's
Yeah.
you'll
So
put our system.
to answer the question is, I think we talked about this just
we
earlier,
talked about
right?
it earlier,
So it's from a payments perspective. I don't think like Ethereum is ready for like daily like coffee shop, coffee like payments or like grocery payments. Probably it's not ready yet. But most is from like. Acquiring side is not ready, but issuing side, I think we can give it a try though.
Why not choose another like blockchain, like using a privacy blockchain instead of Ethereum?
Yeah, it's a combination. Like I mentioned, like the Quorum and like the hybrid ledger, like the fabrics, and also like those things is the permission. It is, and the one we designed, the Libra protocol, is definitely like took into a lot of consideration of like the privacy and the permission.
I see. Okay, so back to our questions for Lu. So how can communities and enterprises benefit with Libra Credit? Can you share more?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think it's with the way we design like Libra token. It's
Yes.
like a utility one and the governance one. So we do have the long-term plan, how to like put the governance piece like back to the community. In the sense of a community, it's not only the end consumers. We probably also is going to have some like projects join us, because we see also a big demand from the projects is after they did like a successful like a private sale, public sale, and they do have a lot of like either Ether or either like their own tokens, right? What is the best way like they don't want to sell it. Then again, they also have the need like how they can collateralize part of it and get liquidity from us. So what we are thinking about is especially what kind of cryptocurrency we are going to support moving forward. That's something we definitely want to work with the community, work with different projects to find out.
It's
the
like
best
another
solution.
kind of exchange, like the lending platform
Yeah,
exchange,
so
where you
it's
list
very interesting.
tokens for
I think
loan.
you're right about it. Along the way, we will find out a lot of things that actually was not we originally thought about. And I think that's the beauty about something new,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And that's the beauty about new technology, new business model, and like all the feedback from the community. So.
Right.
Okay, so can we have the PPT on the lending product flow, just to have a look? Yeah.
Right.
So maybe Lu, you can share more on following this PPT, like what are the steps that people can actually use Libra Credit?
Yeah, I think this one is actually very much like I shared with you guys is what we already currently like put into pilots. It's like a user can come in and they provide like some basic KYC, AML information together with the crypto assets they want to use as collateral. So once we receive all those things, we create like a multi-signature wallet, and then like at the back end we will come up with like a Libra score for the user, and also like there will be a CTL monitoring. CTL is like a collateral to loan ratio. It's
Okay.
like we don't recommend for new users anything like below 165%. Typically like it's like around like 200 something. And then like we will give like USDT and MGDAO based on users' preference. And I think at this moment they can get those stable coins. They can most of them actually transfer to a different exchange and buy the stuff they want. I think moving forward we're probably going to make it a little more easier for the users. They can probably just finish their part on the same site. So being said that is in June timeframe, like I think we're going to process about $1 million worth of collateral, and our goal is in Q4. By the end of Q4, we're going to process like $10 million worth of collateral on a monthly basis. So, that's only from the consumer side. We haven't took into consideration about the corporate side,
Yeah.
like the business side.
So your target market is not just consumer. You want to target different part of.
Yeah, we are
different
open
kind
to like I said, we are very open like to different like opportunity coming up. But it has to have something to do with credit, lending, and all those things with blockchain again.
Okay. Can you tell us more about the LBA tokens? What are they like?
Yeah, I think we covered a part of it.
Okay.
Like we really want it to be a utility token plus governance token. Utility-wise is people can use it moving forward to pay for like a membership fee, and also can raise the credit line they can borrow from us. I think the initial setting is like 10K for everyone. But the more you own, I think the credit line can potentially like goes up. And also you can use Libra token to pay back the interest rate, interest fee, and you will get discounts by using like Libra token. Moving forward, I think there's a lot of things we're thinking about is when you get Libra credit co-branded like a credit card, every time like you shop on the sites, you will get Libra token as a rewards.
Oh, as a reward.
Things like that.
Okay.
And also like I think as a governance piece, like I mentioned, is we do want user from the community, and they can feedback to us is what kind of assets and what kind of like a loan product they would like to have. Like because currently we support like 3 months, like probably like 8% to 9% interest rate, and probably like we are going to make the dynamic based on different assets they put into collateral, and probably offer like 6 months. That's all the things we are happy to hear from the community. So.
Okay.
So is it something like if you want to borrow money, you lock up your Libra credit? Or is it you spend
no,
your
it's,
Libra LBA?
Yeah, you spend your
You
Libra
spend
credit.
your-
Okay.
So how many percent estimate, like approximately?
Interest
do you-
rate?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we're only charging like 8% to 9%.
8%.
Yeah, 8% to 9%. Because we definitely our vision for this product is because we know like in different markets we see ridiculous like interest rate on credit
Right.
card, right?
Yeah.
24%. Like
Yeah.
I know like in some Latin American countries it can go all the way up to like to 60%, something like that. Okay, so this is going to be the product because you're providing us the universally acceptable assets, and you're going to be treated the same globally. So okay.
Right.
Interesting.
You seems to have.
Other than that, just want to check what is the token allocation for LBA?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the token allocation, I think like.
I think you guys need to listen up for this part because our QA may be related to this. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we already like did a token
Yeah.
distribution for 1 month ago in like middle May time frame, and I think the private investor and the public investor they already got like all the tokens, and for the rest token I think it's 50% is already like locked.
50% locked.
Yeah, 50%
Cool.
is locked.
Okay.
Okay.
Then what about the other token? It's in circulation?
Yeah, it is already in
50
circulation.
all in
Yeah,
circulation.
because we debate about locked, unlocked with our investors in the community, and we decided to go unlocked because we think like if that's truly like a product user will like, and they will hold it for longer term. And so I think so far we have seen like the token price has been a little like up and down, up and down, and I think like by the time we let people know about the progress of the project, and we're going to announce like a bunch of like strategic announcements probably in the next couple months. Mainly you need the community, they have the confidence. They know like where we're going with this project. They know like we are on a daily basis we're making progress, right? We have like more users using our like product, more users holding Libra token because they need this product. So that's the kind of like confidence we're building into this community, like into this product.
So for those unlocked tokens, the 50%, like what is the allocation? Like how many to community, how many in the platform?
I think it's actually mainly is private investors and the public investors. I think 40% is to the private investor and another like yeah, the rest is to the private public investors again.
Okay, so for the locked tokens, when are you planning to
We
circulate them?
like we have a team like for 2 years, and the reserve has 2 parts. Reserve like 15% is like 2 years, another 15% is like 3 years. So it's like 20, 15, 15. That's 50%.
I see. Cool.
Yeah, I feel a big confidence and a faith in your own Libra Credit. So who are the competitors? Can you tell us more about them?
Okay, I think like the question early on, like briefly talked about that, and depends on like how people describe Libra Credit, and sometimes they think, hey, you relate to lending. Okay, then there is already like a project like SART, like RCN, and like some other projects doing related like lending projects. So we are doing the slightly different in the sense is we are not going to use the P2P model, like a borrower, lender, or from the same crypto space. And the reason being is I already answered this, like we think like long-term wise, from scalability wise, you have to bridge crypto community with the financial institutions. And also like from a payments perspective, a lot of people also say, hey, you're going to issue card, right? And there's already project issuing like a card like Monaco 10X, and what are you guys going to be different from that? So from our perspective is card like has debit card, credit card. I think like the current existing product is more like a debit card in the sense every time you go there, like coffee shop, grocery shopping, it actually does a real-time cryptocurrency like a settlement and clearance. But in our sense, like what I just mentioned is more from the credit issuing side. We use the blockchain, and when you do the acquiring side, you use your fiat currency. So that's the key difference. Like our card is going to be more like a credit card. It's a crypto credit card compared with other crypto debit cards.
So that makes it special of the Libra Credit.
That's right.
Yes.
But there are other similar projects as well, right? Like SOT or this.
That's what I just mentioned. Is more a P2P model. In our cases, we more like to develop is like B2C model. It's like the funding source or the liquidity is provided by the financial institutions instead of individuals.
I see. see. I think quite interesting because previously in Huobi Talk we also featured another project on regarding the credit, working on the credit industry called Link Eye. Have you heard of them?
I think I heard about it.
But
Yeah, okay.
for their model is a bit different. Theirs is they are using blockchain technology to store credit information.
Okay.
So for this part is part of Libra Credit as well, right? Part of the ecosystem?
Yeah,
Or
that's
is
right. I
it-
would put them more into the identity service provider. Though it's sounds like more like that category.
Cool. Okay, so now let's have a look at our pop quiz. So just to update, today we have 5 rounds of QA. For each round, 20,000 LBA will be shared between the first 100 participants who get the correct answer using the format Huobi UID at correct answer. So it's time for our 4th question right now. So please guys prepare for the 4th question. So just now we kind of covered it. So if you listen carefully, you should probably get this question correct.
Okay, so question number 4. What is the percentage of locked LBA tokens? Locked LBA tokens. So key in the right answer on the live chat in the format UID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at correct answer. So only first 100 correct answers will get to share 20,000 LBA prize pool.
So all the best. Let's see if we have right answers. Yeah, actually we see a lot of right answers. So yeah, thanks for listening in. So great to see that everyone is really engaged in the live streaming. Yep. So keep the answers coming. So we will pick the first 100 correct participants to share the prize pool. And also because just now for one of the questions we had some issues with inputting the website answer on the live chat. So nearing the end of the live stream, please stay with us. We will have a bonus question to replace that question. So Lu also need your help to think of maybe tricky questions to ask the audience later for the bonus QA.
Okay.
Yeah, for later, nearing the end of the live stream. So please stay with us. Yeah, so back to our interview with Lu. So regulation is quite an important factor. So can you share with us, so is regulation going to be a problem from country to country? And which countries will Libra Credit be targeting first? Yep.
Yeah. I think working in the financial technology space and also blockchain is also considered it's going to add a lot of value to the financial technology. It's always a challenge you need to take into consideration of compliance, taking regulation. So that's why we actually put that in the very top priority for us. We do have our chief compliance officer Francesco, who has an extensive industry background in terms of getting brokerage license and applying for lending related license in all the key states of the United States. That's actually also the process we have been through when PayPal grew from a small company to a big company. At the very beginning, it worked with some banks, credit card issuers, to do things together. And then slowly along the way, PayPal also get his 55 license, all US, and also even getting a banking license in Luxembourg and European countries. So for us, I think we're doing the very similar approach. We're going to work with a few strategic partners in terms credit card issuing license and in terms lending license. But we're actively working with regulatories to getting our own license in the long run as well. And that's why you see on websites, when we are still a small team, we already have our chief compliance officer. So.
Interesting. So can you share what are some of the countries that is already approved with the regulation, and what are some countries that you'll be targeting first for the first part of the pilot?
I think because crypto to crypto is probably there's not a strict license requirement yet.
Yep.
But the moment that we're talking about crypto to fiat, there's a lot of license requirement. So definitely our focus is still on the active crypto communities, based countries again Korea, Japan, Singapore, US. So those are the markets. We're working with those key partnerships, and I think you guys in the community will pretty soon you will see announcements who we are working with and what kind of progress we're making.
So when were the announcements?
Yeah, I think in the later Q3 and Q4 we are already going to have some key partnership announcements. So,
Okay. Yep.
Okay, will you explain more on the roadmap of Libra Credit?
Yeah, I think We're actually a little bit ahead of schedule instead of like a later schedule. The number I just shared with the audience is in June timeframe. We're already like doing a pilot and enrolled like hundreds of users. And I think the current number of users in our system as credit is already like anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 like users. Our goal is by the end of like Q4, we want to process probably like $10 million worth of collateral on a monthly base, and also like we're like I just mentioned to you guys, we're probably going to announce like one major deals like in 4 of the major continents we currently cover. So.
So the desktop version is launched already?
It's in pilot mode.
In
That's
pilot,
the PC version.
okay.
Yeah, okay. And also we have like.
So it will be launched very soon, like maybe next month.
We still take the phased approach. Like we are going to launch like to like different community. Like we're going to have 4 different language support, like Korean, Chinese, US, and also either Japanese or like we're going to support a different language as well. So,
Okay. So only in 2019 then we'll start proper with the services for Libra Credit.
Yeah, I would see like probably in early like 2019 you're going to see that physical cards come into place. Like we are going to work with like exchanges and wallet providers and provide like one click to get like credit card, crypto-based credit card like functionality. So.
Cool. So from now till the launch, what is like some of the focus, key area of focus your team will be?
The focus is still like making sure like the global team is actually functioning really well, and also like it's from the risk management and also from the credit betting side is developing the expertise in terms of like price volatility, how much like getting better at asset rating, which is also a very key area, and also like have like a better understanding of like all those identity service provider, and probably a few combination of that will fit into our product better.
So it's a bit about like gaining some partners.
Exactly, it's more like
making
sure
the
that
network, establishing connection, making sure the platform is ready for launch.
Like the picture we just described, the ecosystem is actually really functioning in place. So.
Just waiting for it to launch.
So
why not just
yeah, we're just like trying to see making progress like on a daily basis, and also like we do a lot of iterations right now. We do this right, and looks like it's not the best product yet, but every time we release a new version, it's going to get better.
Cool. Okay. And do you have any exciting development or partnership to share?
I think I just mentioned to you guys, it's probably like I think next month, probably early next month, we do have a few like announcement we're going to make, and I think that's going to get both from the ecosystem wise, both from like the lender side and lender stablecoin, and also like the exchanging side and the wallet side. I think all those like different components we are going to have like well established announcements. Okay.
Okay. Just a personal question, because Libra Credit seems to be more on tapping on the services for crypto. So it's like you can loan crypto, you can loan fiat with crypto.
Yeah.
But what about the underlying blockchain technology?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
How does your platform use the technology, or is it more of like a service for blockchain rather than?
We do have our like Libra protocol, and I think it probably is even a better idea. Like next time I will get like our chief scientist, we can specifically talk about that. Probably on the following up like discussion. We also we're building up that Libra protocol has like ID components. We also have something called like a badge components, and there's one core functionality is actually called Libra Score something, and that's also like the Libra token is going to play a key role, like how Libra token is important for like financial institutions to interact with us, and like for third parties who want to leverage the Libra Score, and they can also use Libra token to access those services. So it's
like another ecosystem.
Exactly. It's during that Shanghai meetup, I think Howard gave us an update. It's like 3-hour update on that particular.
Okay, cool. Maybe we can have you at another
Happy
episode
to do that.
just to talk about the technology, rather than this episode is more on the use
It's an
case,
overview.
Exciting. Okay. Congratulations on the Libra Credit to be listed on the Huobi Pro.
Oh, thank you so much for your support.
We want to know, what do you think about Huobi Pro, and what made you decide to be listed on the Huobi Pro?
I think from the very beginning, like we worked with like various team, like from the Huobi side, Huobi investment, Huobi listing team, and Huobi like operation team, like broadcast like in Beijing and now in Singapore. So we get to know like the Huobi team like extensively. So it's a bunch like really hardworking professional, and also like young, really young like. Engineers, young, product guys. I think like it's great. I know like Huobi also did a great like event in Singapore just a few weeks back, announcing like Huobi train and like all the amazing things you're going to make it happen in the next like 6 to 12 months. And I know like Huobi probably within just 1 year already expanded to like so many different countries. Because when I was in Seoul just like 2 weeks back, I saw like Huobi Pro, and I saw there's an amazing video like they're sharing like what is Huobi, right? Huobi like around the world, like different people pronounce Huobi. I think like all those things brings in the energy, brings in like the inspiration. We're really doing something which is potentially is going to change the world and change like the industry in a much bigger way. So that's why I feel very excited to work with like the Huobi team. Just
thanks for your support.
Yeah.
Great to hear all the positive feedback about Huobi.
So, is it the
now,
last question? No.
The
Besides
second
the
last
bonus.
question, because we have another bonus Q&A pop quiz.
Yes.
So for our second last question, just to highlight to you, today we have 5 rounds of Q&A. So for each round, 20,000 LBA will be shared between the first 100 participants who get the correct answer using the format Huobi UID at correct answer.
Right.
Yep, so time for question 4 now. So this is a really simple question.
So question is, please answer yes or no. It's a simple question. Is LBA listed on Huobi Pro? Say yes or no. Please key in the right answer on the live chat in the right format. Can we see if everyone is getting the right answer? It's a very simple question. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Many
maybe,
people.
yeah, that's great. So I think we have more than 100 correct answers. So good luck. So congratulations to the top 100 for this question. So Lu, do you have another question you would like to ask for the bonus QA? Yeah, since just now there was some issue with keying in the website URL. So maybe you can give another bonus question. So for those that stayed with us until now, you can actually have another chance to key in the right answer and be the top 100.
So the bonus question, let's make it a little fun then. Okay. So for my co-founder, Dan Shet, like he was in a lot of meetup and a lot of like conference, keynote speech. And I always get a feedback, like people think like Dan really looks like a movie star.
Oh.
Wow.
And if anybody can put the right name there, I think...
so who does he look like?
Yeah, who does he look like?
And if we don't hit top 100, we will just pick the few that gets the correct answer, and then this few will share the prize pool of 20,000 LBA.
Exciting.
Yeah, exciting.
Probably a little hint on that.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's a British movie star, and based on a really famous like British novel. Okay.
Novel.
Can you repeat the question now so that those maybe people who didn't catch it the first time?
I see. Okay. My co-founder Dan Shet, I think every time he did like a presentation on a meetup and on like keynote speech, there's a lot of people who just come to me, hey, this guy really looks like a movie star, and I just want to know like any one of you can put the name there. Which movie star is that?
I think Dan will be happy to see
Like Jet Li, like some Roger Moore,
Aston Kutcher.
Any right answers? Do you see?
A lot of answers, so we need to.
I see another Jet Li, James Bond.
I will give a hint.
Yeah, maybe a hint.
That's the famous like British like detective.
British detective.
Detective like who is the actor of like Holmes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the
Like
top 100
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Who was starting like Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, I think that's
Something
enough.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
so
Okay.
the top 100 will share 20,000 for this round, but if we don't hit the top 100, we'll just share the 20,000 LBA among the few correct answers, if we even have any.
Yes.
Yeah, so if we have only one, the one lucky one can share this prize as well.
Sure.
So please note that all tokens will be deposited into your Huobi Pro account within 3 working days after the official announcement is posted on Medium. Once the winner list is out on Medium, decision is final and non-negotiable.
Before we end, let's check out last time for the QA on a live chat. Let's see if there's any interesting questions.
Maybe a question from Summer Singh. What milestones do you have in place, and how will you let investor know when a milestone is achieved?
Okay.
Interesting question.
Yeah, we just talked about the milestone. Like in June, we already hit a milestone.
Yeah.
It's like $1 million worth of collateral, and by the end of Q4, 10 million worth of like collateral in system on a monthly base. And I think there is a way. The milestone, how do we communicate the milestone? I think that's the question is. We have weekly reports on Medium, Reddit, and on our like Twitter. So we do publish like all those progress on that. So I would encourage everybody like follow our Twitter, and also take a look at our Medium, take a look at our like Reddit. And also I think it's a great idea to be part of the Telegram or WeChat like group. And also we will also update it regularly based.
Okay, and then we have another question from Jo Net Chu Wong. What is the relationship Libra have with PayPal? I understand that a lot of you are from PayPal previously, but any other partnership? Or is PayPal supporting Libra Credit in any other way?
Yeah, the only thing I can say about that is stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Good.
Exciting.
No exclusive news on that can be announced right now?
No, okay.
Nothing?
Okay.
Okay, so everyone stay tuned for the news.
Stay tuned for the news. Question from Top Link. How do I get to try the pilot mode?
I think the product team, they're going to put something together and put it in Telegram and put it in WeChat group to like let people know how you can like get into the pilot mode.
Right, so you guys can join the WeChat or Telegram
yeah,
group.
Yeah, and also if you're interested, you can also let the admin know like in the Telegram like group. Okay.
Another question from Benzema about how Libra Credit wants to stand out from competitors.
Yeah, I think like
other than the differences, how does the differences make you stand out?
Yeah,
Is it more on the team, the service?
Yeah, I think he mentioned like a few competitors. I think we want to differentiate ourselves like from a few different perspectives. The end goal is actually to make the product scalable and sustainable. Scalable in the sense like moving away from a P2P mode, like more to work with financial institutions to provide liquidity. Sustainable in the sense is we don't want to become like a security token, like which promise a lot of things we not necessarily can deliver in the longer term. And I think like puts all the compliance and the regulatory efforts at the very beginning. Right, talking to all the right party to making sure like this is the product is going to meet all those requirements, and all our like Libra token holders will benefit from it, not just from a short term, it's from mid to a longer term.
Okay, I have another question personally. Like, so why do you name the project Libra Credit?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We keep getting that question as well, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So Libra is more like if you look when you search like Libra and in image of Google, you will actually see from like a lot of ancient like Egypt some like diagrams. It's more like represents trust, fairness, and balance. So we think this is very important in credits and like in the lending space, and especially in the financial like technology side. So that's why we decide like Libra Credit is probably the right name to go with.
Interesting. Thanks for the sharing. So let's check out if we have any questions. Yeah. So
Yeah. I saw the Benedict. Yeah, he said that Benedict. That's the movie star.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the answer. But
yeah. Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys have any more questions that you want to ask Lu, you can feel free to go to Libra Credit social media where you can put in the questions, and then the community staff will help to answer. Or if you have any questions for Huobi, you also can visit our social media to ask as well. Yep. So thanks, Lu, for the sharing today. Before we end, any other things you would like to share to the audience or to your fans from Libra Credit? Because I'm sure a lot of them are tuning in just to hear you speak right now.
I actually really view them as my supporter.
Yeah.
And I think like my goal and my vision is in the near future, I would like every one of you who is holding crypto assets will have a Libra Credit, co-branded Libra Credit like credit cards.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for joining us on Huobi Talk today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you
time.
so much.
Yeah, looking forward to coming back soon though.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
To
With
talk
the
about
technical.
technology.
Okay.
Yeah, so now just have a final announcement on our airdrop scheme.
Yeah, so final update on our signature airdrop segment. We've switched a little bit of the regulations. Today's prize pool was 175,000 LBA, simply to following the 2 steps. So the first one was to share the videos, and the second one was to have the right answer for the pop quizzes.
Yeah, so congratulations to those that answered the top 100 as one of the top 100 for all the questions. So you will receive 200 LBA each.
Right.
Yeah.
Please note that all tokens will be deposited in your Huobi Pro account within 3 working days after the official announcement is posted on the Medium. Once the winner list is out in the Medium, decisions is final and non-negotiable.
And here's a quick disclaimer. We would like to remind everyone that there are risks involved, and users are advised to exercise caution in trading. When in doubt to the actions you should take, please consult your solicitors or other professional advisors.
Last reminder, Huobi is still hiring. We're looking forward to have a new talents in our great international team. We're hiring both in Vietnam and Singapore. Positions are available in many different departments and more from this list. So if you're interested in joining us, please drop an email to apechr@huobi.com with your name, CV, and please don't forget to mention interested positions and the location.
Yeah, so that's all from us today. Thank you so much for joining us on Huobi Talk. If you want to find out more or have any other questions for us, you can find us on social media. Just join us on Telegram by searching Huobi Pro Official, Twitter at Huobi_Pro, Instagram at Huobi Pro. So please check out the links at the description below. And also remember to subscribe to us on YouTube for the latest updates on Huobi Talk by clicking the subscribe button below right now.
Thank you for joining us today at Huobi Talk. It was Yun Han and Lindsay. And thank you again, Lu, for joining
Thank you so
us.
much. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so see you guys next week.
Yeah, see you next Thursday, 28th June at 12 p.m. Same time, and have an attractive airdrop prize pool for you as well. So stay tuned and see you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.